Hey, my name is Gonzalo Carvajal, and today I will be presenting speech number 3. For over a year now, I have been working in a collision and auto body repair center called Soulsby Autocrafts. I'm safe to say that I have learned a lot about various types of vehicles, including their big pros and cons. And what I did notice is the safety between gas-powered vehicles and electric-powered ones. My perspective on vehicles greatly changed when one day at work, a Tesla caught on fire. And as we can see here, the fire was actually pretty bad. As we can see, one by itself caught on fire, and it caused for the two right next to it and the two in the back to actually catch on fire. And for some big reason, all of them happened to be Teslas, and this greatly affected not only the company but the customers, and it showed us how safe these so-called cars are. And a study by TeslaFire.com published May 2023 shows us how this year alone there have been 71 fatalities in Tesla failures alone, and more than 204 Teslas that have caught on fire only in California. And this is a big number considering this has only happened in the state of California, and it is not actually the biggest state in Tesla, meaning there have been a lot more. And today I'm here to persuade my audience on why they should not buy electric powered vehicles like Teslas. First, I'll be talking about the problem. Next, I'll talk about the causes. Then I will talk about the solutions. The causes. One of the biggest problems in electric vehicles is the poor build quality. An article by Copilot Search published June 23 tells us that electric manufacturers are focused more on the fancy tech rather than the actual build of the car. The parts that are used are cheap, and the price with the technology. This tells us that the build is very unsafe and is a huge benefactor in deaths. And here we have, this is actually a Tesla hood that caught on fire and actually caused it to split. And this was called by a short circuit in the technology. And this caught the thing. So many of the examples I'm going to be showing are from my workplace, since we have lots of Teslas. And a good example I can provide for the cars that enter shop where I work at, you see your average gas-powered car like a Toyota that can withstand being rear-ended, while a Tesla or electric Hyundai end up being a total loss. The part itself that come in a very light, which is horrible considering these metal parts are supposed to protect you. And this just makes it all the worse because the lighter parts are what ultimately is protecting you. Like this hood is meant to protect the front part of your vehicle and is actually the lightest part, actually only weighing about 10 pounds, which is horrible considering it. Another huge problem in the huge amount of technology it carries, like the batteries itself. And an article by hotcars.com published September 21 tells us that the battery fails either when it is very cold or when it's very hot, meaning the battery will not be stable no matter what the weather condition is. And this is horrible because it cannot withstand average conditions like your gas-powered vehicle. And we see that the difference between the electric vehicle and this is that the electric vehicle cannot even withstand these weathers. And now that I talked about the problems, I will talk about the causes. Causes. The manufacturers making faulty products. And this is a huge cause. And the one huge cause is the manufacturers rather add more innovative technology than safety mechanics. A good example is a Tesla Cybertruck failed to have some safety feature while it quote-unquote had new technology. They rather have luxury than safety. And we not only see this in cars like Teslas, but electric Hyundais and even electric Toyotas themselves have had these problems. And this one right here is an electric Kia, and it randomly caught on fire. Turns out the pedestrian was actually killed in this fire because it not only caught the front part, but the rest of the car along with it, and this greatly affected the build. And an article by The Verge published June 2022 tells us that the build quality in Polestar and Hyundais are very horrible and have actually been a leading cause in deaths by vehicles. And in a survey, electric vehicle owners stated that they would easily get bends and dents in their vehicles, stating that their car would get really damaged with regular outing. And this is very common for cars that actually enter the body shop where I work at, where one small rear end can cause a total loss for a car. And obviously this is actually life-threatening, and this is very horrible for the customer because we see that this actually loses them money, and it is not only a safety feature, but it is just horrible for the people overall. And now that I talked about the causes, I will talk about the solution. And the one big solution is do not buy electric vehicles. The obvious solution to a huge problem is not buying these vehicles. It would not only look better, but it would potentially even save your life. An article by ExxonMobil published May 2022 shows how gas-powered cars have tough builds that are meant to protect the engine and the driver. Although sometimes not equipped with top technology, they have enough good material that can withstand huge collisions. And we see this with the EV vehicle because it cannot withstand these conditions. It is actually very horrible. Now that I talked about the solution, I will talk about my call to action. And my call to actions is say no to electric vehicles. For us students here at Cal Poly Pomona who are barely getting into driving and barely getting into buying inside the car industry, I recommend that we actually stay to gas-powered cars. And although more people will argue that the gas is all electric, no, the gas is actually more expensive than the electric. It goes hand in hand because the electric, you're paying more for your electricity bill. And I recommend the students not here in the classroom listening to this to actually not buy the electric vehicle because it is just a horrible build and that can actually be life-threatening. And for a societal solution, petition to better quality. Teslas are very, very cheap cars and they need to better the quality because they have resulted in the most car accident deaths this year than any other year. Thank you.